Hello, matriculants, geography teachers, and people who are curious and learning more about geography. Today, we are looking at fluvial process as a subtopic under uh, drainage systems in South Africa. Okay, um, so here we're looking at the fluvial process. Okay, we're going to be looking at a longitudinal section of a river as I've drawn here. This is our longitudinal section of a river, but I didn't finish so that we can finish all and so on, so that you can see the process of doing it and so on, so that you can create a better understanding. Okay, yes. um, this is the height above sea level. This is the altitude, right? This is the altitude. This is the altitude. Yes, the altitude is 0. You can see 0 this by you find the ocean, 100 going up to 700 meters. Okay, and also here you can find the source. Here at the very first, you can see the very first, this is the source. Here you can see the source, you can find it here. This is the source. This is the upper course, meaning that the source we find it on the upper course. The upper course is the very first course of a river. This is the longitudinal section of a river, right? Okay, let me write it here. This is a longitudinal section of a river. This is a longitudinal section of a river, but we also have a cross section, but we can also say it's a transverse section. We're going to talk about it after a longitudinal section. Okay, it's a longitudinal section of a river used by a river is showed from the source into the mouth. That means meaning that to the end of a river, right? It's a side view, a longitudinal section, right, of a river, from the source to the mouth or to the end of the river. Yes, as you can see, this is the ocean, meaning that this river flowing through here, you can find our mouth here. Let me justify it. You can find our mouth here. This is our mouth here. Okay, this must be a mountain or a uplying area, very high lying area. Okay, it's a mountain. A source is always on the mountain, like on the high lying area, and the water will flow down to the upper course. After the upper course, it's a middle course. This is a middle course. Yes, so this is the increasing distance downstream. Increasing distance downstream. This is the increasing distance. You can see distance increasing the distance of it covered by a river. Yes. So the mouth we receive, or we see our mouth on the lower course. This is a lower course. This is a longitudinal section of a river. Yes. You can also see a slope. In terms of the slope, it's steeper in the upper course. Then in the middle course, at least it begins to become at least gentler, like gentle, I can say, but steep on the very first part of the middle course. It's steeper down as we're going down. It's kind of like trying to be gentle. Then on the lower course, it's gentle. The slope is gentle. That means it's flat. Okay. Let's look at our transverse profile or cross profile. Yes. A cross profile is going to look like this. Okay, this is the upper course. For the upper course, let me draw the upper course, how the upper course is going to look. Upper course. Okay, this is for upper course. And this is for middle course. And this is for a lower course. And this is a lower course. Okay, for the upper course transverse profile. Okay, let me write it down here. Let me say transverse or cross profile. Transverse profile, cross profile. I think you can see it's a narrow, like on the upper course, because it's steep. The water doesn't stay much time. It just flowed down because it's deep. Okay, this is the middle course. The middle course, it's kind of like wider than in upper course. This is the lower course. Lower course. This is the lower course. This is the lower course. I think you can see. This is the upper course. As you can see, the upper course. This is the middle course. This is the lower course. A transverse profile. A transverse profile. This is whereby we showed like the in front or the front of a river. The front of the river, the front of the river in the middle course, the front of the river in the lower course, in terms of the wideness and their narrowness. Okay. So let's talk about this upper course. Okay. Let's first talk about the upper course. Okay. So let's talk about the upper course. Okay, in the upper course, as you can see, vertical erosion with hydraulic action. There is vertical erosion with with the hydraulic action. With hydraulic action, I can also say the operation and direction dominant. Operation and direction dominant. Dominant processes. Okay. For the second one, the traction and suction at high flow. Meaning that the water is at high flow. Traction and suction at high flow. Flow. Also, long size is large and angular. Long size, you can see the size is very, very long and angular, V shape. And angular. And that it is steep. Let's see, it is okay. It's steep, as you can see, and narrow. Steep and narrow. A V-shaped valley. This is the most common one that is common during exams. V-shaped valley. V-shaped valley in the upper course. Okay. Yes. So in the upper course, consequently, the slope is very, very steep. As you can see, it's from the mountain, and therefore water doesn't take much time to stay on the river valley. It just flows down in a speed, yes, in a high flow, and therefore this will cause the vertical erosion with hydraulic action. Yes, meaning that it's the vertical erosion can also cause the valley to be narrow. Yes, and that's why you're saying it's a V-shaped valley. Yes. Okay, let's talk about middle course now. Let's focus on the middle course. Middle course. This is the middle course. Okay. A middle course, the channel is deeper and wider. Channel is deeper and wider, vertical erosion decreasing in importance. Vertical erosion decreasing. Okay, let's say vertical erosion decreasing, more lateral erosion and deposition. More lateral erosion erosion and deposition. And deposition. Okay, let me first explain this after adding up other information, right? Okay, in the middle course, the channel is deeper and wider, right? Meaning that the lateral erosion, this is whereby the sides of a river are eroded. That's a lateral erosion. Yes. And deposition is introduced because of the all the material that was eroded in the upper course moved into a middle course, meaning that the erosion, yeah, will cause a deposition, right? Yes, deposition is introduced in the middle course. Vertical erosion decreasing, yes, decreasing, vertical erosion decreasing, meaning that the vertical erosion down in a riverbed is decreasing, and now this will cause it to stop going narrow and become wider and deeper, yes, and more lateral erosion and deposition and so on. That's family cause. Okay, let me add other information for family cause. The other point that you can say for family cause is suspension. Suspension is the main. Transportation. Type. Yes, suspension is the main transportation type. Secondly, we can also say the load becomes smaller and less angular. Yes, as I already said. Load becomes smaller and less angular. Yes, so it becomes less angular. As you can see in the upper course, it's so angular in the upper course, but in the middle course, it becomes to be less angular in the middle course. You see, it's less angular now. It's not a V shape no more because of the decreased vertical erosion. Yes. Let's move to lower course, guys, which is the last course, whereby you find the mouth, whereby a river is very close to an ocean. Lower course, the lower course. Yes. So let's talk about the lower course. So yes, guys, lower course, the channel is at its widest and deepest. And any may be tell. Okay. Yes. So the channel is at its widest and deepest. Any may be tell. I'll explain later. The second one, the deposition is more important than erosion. Deposition is more important than erosion. Yes. There is fine material deposited. Fine material deposited. Large amount of load. Large amount of load. Large amount of load. So load. But the size is very small. Very small and very rounded. Yes. Okay. My very first point was saying the channel is at its widest and deepest, and it may be tidal. Okay. In the lower course, the vertical erosion has decreased, and the lateral erosion has increased very so much just after the middle course, as those type of erosions have been changed from the upper course, because in the upper course there is much vertical erosion. There's much vertical erosion in the upper course, causing it to be V-shaped, but the vertical erosion decreases now, meaning that the riverbed formed will be I can say will be in a level way. You can see start to be level, right? But in the it's like this in the lower course. You see? Yes. So the lateral erosion, meaning that the lateral erosion is occurring on the sides. Yes, lateral erosion is occurring on the sides, meaning that it widens the river, the lateral erosion. So the lateral erosion is more on the lower course. So that's why it is wide, or I can say it's wider. It's the widest between all those courses, and it is the deepest. The deepest because of the riverbed has been eroded too. And it may be tidal, meaning that the water that is moving on the sides, like on the sides, maybe it can form the tides on the sides, meaning that the water will flow on the sides of the river, like forming like in a tidal way, right? Yes. Deposition is more important than erosion. So since there is more erosion that has occurred on the upper course, middle course, so all of those material that have been eroded in those particular courses are going to be deposited on the lower course. So that's why the deposition is more important than erosion. Fine material deposited, and the material now is now fine, and so on, right? Yes. Large amount of load, but the size is very small and very rounded. Yes, this is why those depositions can form some metamorphic rocks and so on. Okay, I mean sedimentary rocks. Yes, so this is why these sediments or deposition can form like some kind of sedimentary rocks and so on. Okay, let's move and go to our. So now we're going to talk about the graded profile and the ungraded profile. in the next following lesson. We have graded profile and ungraded profile. You must know the difference and must know more about these two concepts. Graded profile, this is whereby a river is graded, but the ungraded profile, this is whereby a river is ungraded. Yes, as you can see, this is a illustration of a river. It's a longitudinal section of a river, longitudinal profile. Okay. So river grading, in river grading there must be a balance between erosion and deposition. So here this means there was a balanced erosion and deposition, but here there was unbalanced erosion and deposition. Okay, this is your source, this is your source, and this is your mouth. This is your source, this is your mouth. Your mouth. Okay, the profile is smooth, as you can see, smooth profile, and here there are rapids and waterfalls. You can see rapids and waterfalls. Okay, yes, rapids and waterfalls and so on, that are caused by the imbalanced or unbalanced deposition and erosion. Okay, maybe here in this area here was eroded, but the eroded material couldn't go to the lower course. It just fell on the way and formed some sedimentary rocks and so on, causing water movement to be more turbulent and to be more uneven. Yes, so causing rapids and waterfalls, as you can see. Yeah, that's how it goes. So in this profile, this is by the erosion was in balance with the deposition, so the eroded material is going to be also moved downwards to be deposited on the lower course, right? Yes, causing the profile to be smoother. Okay, the river, I mean, just write the important concepts. River grading, in river grading there must be a balance between erosion and deposition. Yes, there must be a balance between erosion and deposition in the river grading. So meaning that, I'm saying it again, meaning that here there was a balanced erosion and deposition, but here there was no balance between the erosion and deposition, so that's why it's ungraded. Yes. So a graded river, let's talk about the graded river. A graded river is the river that has enough energy to transport the material. The material is eroded material, yes. So the graded river is the river, this is the graded river, this one is the river that has enough energy to transport the material, meaning that the eroded material. Okay, so this river, as I already said, guys, this river has enough energy, meaning that the water moving within the river has enough energy to erode and also move the material to be deposited in the lower course. Yes, that's a graded river, is the river that has enough energy to transport the material. But this one, it's obvious that it has no enough energy to transport the material, the eroded material. So the eroded material will end up falling in middle course, in the upper parts of the lower course, and also in the lower course, causing the river to be ungraded, to have folds and to have an uneven path, forming rapids and waterfalls. Yes, that's how it goes. So yes, let's talk about the ultimate base level, yes, and the permanent base level. Okay, the ultimate base level, guys, it's also a permanent base level, right? Yes. Let me say, yeah, let me just say, okay. Ultimate base level, or you can say it's a permanent, it's permanent base level. Permanent base level is something that is natural, like it's permanent, it can't change and so on. It's not temporal, but we also have a temporal base level we're going to talk about after I've explained this one. Permanent base level, so sorry, yes, permanent base level. Okay, so a permanent base level, this is where a river enters the sea. A river enters a sea. You can see the sea is on 0 degrees latitude, is on 0 degrees altitude. I mean, the height above sea level is 0, meaning that it's very, very gentle. So on the ocean or on the sea, it's very, very gentle, meaning that it is going to be a permanent base level. It's natural, as I said, or you can also say it's an ultimate base level. Okay, and now let's talk about temporal base level. These are the important concepts, guys. They will come out, you must know them. Temporary base level. This is temporal, this is not natural. Like, yes, it is natural, but it's not it's not given that is going to happen. Is the river like waterfalls? Okay, is the river like like waterfalls. Yes, so a temporal base level, this is it's so by it's so level during the movement in the course of a river. It's level, and now it starts to go down, forming a waterfall. That's a temporal base level. Yes, it occurred because of the ungraded profile. Yes, so that's a temporal base level.